Peace, peace, greetings, 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 greetings. Let me see if I can get on board. All right, peace. How's everyone doing? It's Professor Griff. I'm coming on at a very, very inopportune time. Didn't let anyone know. Just kind of popping on, making some things happen. I need to go downstairs and get my microphone, and I need to go downstairs and get my my camera. All right, so I'm going to play a commercial, see if I can jet downstairs and get it real quick because I'm not sure how clear I'm coming through. But anyway, shout out to the Moorish diaspora. You said, let's go. I want to go, but I got to come through clearer. You understand what I'm saying? All right, so just if y'all could give me a minute, I think I could go make that happen real quick, like real quick. It ain't going to take me long. All right. In the meantime, between time, let me see. I think I got to
tap into the sounds that heal and words that awaken. Soul Own Collective brings both. Their music is a vessel, a sacred offering of rhythm, affirmations, and spirit. Listen and download at professorgriff.bandcamp.com. To invite Soul Own Collective to your space, text 678-557-2919. Soul Own Collective. Tap into the sounds that heal and words that awaken. Soul Own Collective brings both. Their music is a vessel, a sacred offering of rhythm, affirmations, and spirit. Listen and download it.
All right, peace. All right, let me just get the settings right. I just plugged up my camera. I noticed that I wasn't looking like, yep. So the camera that I should be looking at, that's better. All right. Check the audio. I got the audio popping. I got the camera popping. All right, let's dive into this subject. Tonight, I wanted to talk about just asking a basic question. I was having a conversation with a few people. Anyway, first of all, shout out to everyone. Give thanks for coming on. I know y'all had like a moment's notice. I don't normally come on at this hour, but I said to myself, since I have a few minutes, I might as well come on right now since I can't. I came on yesterday. Not sure if I could come on tomorrow. There's two events happening. Hold on. There's two events happening, one Saturday and one Sunday. And let me tell you what they are. The Soul Om is performing at Tassili's the Wizards of Raw. So we will be out on the west end of Atlanta performing. And then that's Saturday at about 4. All right, hold on for a second. Hold on. One second, fam. All right, hold on. All right, here we go. All right. All right, here we go, fam. Let me let y'all see this like this. All right. It says the 15th annual Wonderful Wizards of Raw, feeding our families back to the basics, the beloved community. All right. Then it just has a picture of the Soul Ohm. We will be getting down on Saturday afternoon at about the 4 o'clock hour. So y'all come on through, check out, support the Soul Ohm. All right. Make sure you'll go to Professor Griff .bandcamp.com and purchase and support the Soul Ohm, whether you get a single or whether you get the whole project. All right. Make sure you'll support. All right. And then, hold on for a second. I'm going to send that to my computer so everyone can see it. All right, Double B, what's good with you, man? All right. Hold on. Then, it's the Soul Cinema Sundays. I know I've been announcing it. I've been promoting that. Soul Cinema Sundays is happening. Myself and Kalaji Chabachanga, the gentleman that owns this particular platform, Black Power Media Reloaded. Basically, we're going to sit and we're going to discuss Watch Stacks. If you haven't seen the film Watch Stacks and you're in Atlanta, come on down to Soul Cinema Sundays. All right, that's at the Plaza Theater in Atlanta, Georgia, Sunday, June 8th at 4 p.m. That's on Sunday. Come on through. There's going to be a discussion after the film. If you haven't seen the film, it's a must, especially if you're an artist and you're a producer, because that is the film that we, Public Enemy, took samples from in order to put on our monumental album, It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back. All right, so come on through, fam. All right, let me send that to my computer also. All right, if you're in Atlanta, all right, today's subject, we're going to be talking about how Black is your music. And just from the rip, from the outstart, can someone answer that question for me and be very transparent and very honest? If you're into country music, how Black is country music? Just help me out. How Black is hip hop? How Black is R&B? How Black is pop music? Matter of fact, how Black is rock music? All right. So maybe we could dive into this conversation, unashamedly dive into it. I think I could use that terminology, can I? We don't have to be ashamed to dive into music genres that Black people are at the core of and gave birth to, right? So let's do the honors then. All right, let's do the honors. Let's dive into the subject and let's see what these particular subjects have to say. Of course, I'm using the virtual background. There's some classic soul, R&B, blues, jazz artists in the background. I had to do the virtual background simply because I'm not in my studio. I'd like to be, but it's cool sometimes to sit out on the patio and listen to the birds, that kind of thing. So, share my screen. And let's see. Let's start off with country music. Matter of fact, no, let's not do that. This one says the soundtrack. Nope. Let's do this. All right. How Black people created every music genre in America. America's love for Black culture, but not Black people, has erased African Americans' role in pioneering American music. Is Black people's music American music? That's one of the second questions I want to ask. Can we consider our music American music? Music that Black people create, is it American music? And if you say yes, then you have to define what is America and then what is America's music. All right. So it says Black people created nearly every major music genre in America, yet Black people are underrepresented in the industry, leadership, and awards. It's been this way since the beginning of the music industry. At the core of this phenomenon is a paradox, and that paradox is America's admiration for Black people's culture has always coincided with its blatant disdain for Black people. In other words, they love Black culture, but they hate Black people. All right, millions of Black Americans have to navigate a society that shamelessly sees much value in the creations, yet so little value in the well-being, and nowhere in its unsettling truth more evident than in the history of American music. They do not like Black people, but they don't mind taking Black people's inventions. They don't mind taking out aspects of our culture. They don't mind taking the music. They don't mind taking these things, but they don't want to take you. All right. Now we have to talk about race mixing at another time. We're talking about how Black is your music. Countless scenarios from music history demonstrates how disassociating Black talent from Black people abets systematic and systemic racism. The banjo, for instance, is the foundation of folk and country music. White Americans learned to play the African instrument from enslaved people. They then used what the enslaved people taught them to perform coon songs. Woo! Songs degrading Black people. So we teach them how to use the instruments, and then they turn around and use the instruments to make songs that disrespect Black people. Then they do minstrel shows that mock Black people and belittle Black people. So in the 1920s, some of the best musicians were able to play jazz at Harlem's Cotton Club, one of New York's most famous nightclubs. At the same time, only white people were allowed inside the club as patrons. In the 1950s, doo-wop became so popular in New York City that young Italian New Yorkers created their own doo-wop groups in their neighborhoods. Black people were not allowed in these neighborhoods, as you can see in the movie Bronx Tale. We weren't allowed in the nightclubs as patrons. All right. So then when these neighborhoods kind of sprung up and started doing the doo-wop, we weren't even allowed in the neighborhoods. At least we were beaten and chased out of these particular neighborhoods by young whites that sang cover songs made by Black people. All right. As they stood on their corner mimicking Black people, sounding like Black people, but Black people could not live or even come through their neighborhoods. And the Bronx Tale is a good movie to watch when it comes to that. Black people are not allowed in these neighborhoods. At least we was beaten and chased. And some of these greatest R&B and rock and roll and soul musicians played to sold out venues across the Jim Crow South. Mind you, Jim Crow was going on at this time. All right. If you don't know what the Jim Crow South is, look it up. What is Jim Crow? All right. As concert goers danced and sang, ropes separated Black and white patrons. All right. Upon exiting, sometimes hurried home in fear for their lives. All right. That article is by Vince Dixon. How Black people created every music genre in America. All right. Black people created every music genre in America. Some people would like to argue with that. Even some Black people. I've had debates with Black people on Instagram and on TikTok. They said, well, certain forms of blues and certain forms of jazz weren't created by Black Africans. That it was specifically created by Black people, where they're getting this philosophy and concept from in their heads, I don't know. They said it was created by Black people only in America, and you cannot attribute that to Africans. Our people are sick and twisted. It's like you have to be from Africa with an African address in order for us to say these patterns and these rhythms are African. Because God forbid if you was from New Orleans or Baltimore or Miami, New York, or the West Coast, and you happen to play blues, they would say, no, the blues and jazz started in America. Then you can go back and look at old footage and old film of Black Africans in Africa, and you can hear them same patterns. Because the banjo and the piano, they weren't American instruments. They were African instruments played by Africans. So just because you're not in Africa, that don't mean Africa is not in you. You hate Black so much, you'd rather give the credit to someone else. All right? Yo, Nige, I got to call you back. I'm on live. Yo. Yeah, I hit you back. All right, so let's look at the idea of what it would take for us to admit, right, that Africa is in us and we are in Africa. You can't separate the two. Now you can say, well, we were before Africa. Whatever that place was, that's in us. That energy, field, them ley lines, that energy that came with it, that energy vortex, that's in us. We brought it with us. All right? Before America was America. And then even when they put us in the holes of shit, we brought it again with us for the second time. All right? Okay. All right. Shout out to everyone that's in the chat. I really appreciate that. Your comments. Thank you all for participating this evening. What I would like for everyone to do, and you're starting with you, Double B, as I need everyone to go to Professor Griff .bandcamp.com. There is an EP that I released with me and Soleil on the cover. It's called Rebel Alchemy. All right, if just the people that's on here within the sound of my voice right now, go purchase it and leave a comment, that would move it along. All right, so let's see if we can do that. Let me show you the cover on what it looked like so you don't get mistaken. All right, this is the cover of the single. I mean, the EP. It's called Rebel Alchemy. So everyone take a pause, take a deep breath. Go to www.professorgriff.bandcamp.com. Purchase the EP and please leave a comment. All right. And then hit me up at 678-557-2919. Let me know what you think about the EP. 5 songs from myself and Soleil. All right. All right. I'm waiting on your response. Let's get back to the subject. All right. Anyway, in the meantime, between time, so that we're not confused, I want some people to come on to simply explain to us where. Thank you very much, Russia too. Thank you. Explain to us where all of these genres of music come from, if it didn't come from Black Africans. All right? If it didn't, country music, someone said. I think I found something on country music that speaks volumes. Y'all all, you know, country music comes from, the origins of country music is Black people. All right? We already know that.
Blending African rhythms, gospel, and blues. Early Black artists like Charlie Pride and DeFord Bailey, guitarists Leslie Riddle and Rufus T. Top Payne helped shape the genre, underlining their essential contributions to its evolution and popularity. Country music has deep roots in Black musical traditions, blending African rhythms, gospel, and blues. Early Black artists like Charlie Pride and DeFord Bailey, guitarists Leslie Riddle and Rufus T. Top Payne helped shape the genre, underlining their essential contributions to its evolution and popularity. Country music.
Is Black music country music? That's a great question. These days, it seems like there's a lot of conversation around the topic. Did you know that early country music was actually blended by African traditions with European fiddle tunes?
European fiddle tunes. Where did Europeans learn how to play the fiddle? These wind instruments, these string instruments, all right? Where did they learn how to play them? Because we can go through history and we find that they weren't playing these instruments. They learned them from their enslaved Black Africans who brought that energy and frequency and the vibrational frequency of these instruments over with us on the ships, meeting with some of us that were already here, that were already playing instruments in the Americas.
Our history goes deep. Is Black music country music? That's a great question. These days, it seems like there's a lot.
It's Black History Month. For some Black American music history, check out this great free online resource, the interactive timeline of Black American music on the Carnegie Hall website. The timeline shows history from the 1600s up until present day. Each bar represents a major genre category, and if you scroll over them, it shows main connections and related genres. If you click on a bar, it'll take you to a page with a bunch of great stuff. Pictures, listening examples, quotes and stories, videos, context and history.
That's beautiful.
Shout out to the...
Love it.
We are the blueprint. Give us our flowers. And that's that on that.
I think America's true art form is Black music.
Black music. Yeah, as much as they try to kind of get around it, deny it, not give Black people credit, it amazes. We tend to have now our scientists, engineers, researchers they're able to go back now. So when the first lie was told, we tried to tell people. Then when the second lie was told, they told us to sit down and be quiet. Now the big lie is being told, and now we're able to go to the internet and show people and let them know, no, we created this. We created this. Hold on. Doing a little bit of research early and I stumbled across some things. I was like, wow, they've been lying for a long time. This is the soundtrack of history, how Black music shaped the culture through time. Wow. So just some basic history. It'll take you through this timeline. Hold on.
The influence of Black culture in the music industry.
Every genre that is born from America has Black roots associated with it, from rock and roll to blues to doo-wop, disco. Theft of Black creativity is something that is in the bedrock of American society. You could think of Elvis and where he took a lot of his stage presence from, where he took a lot of his bravado and conviction in his lines from, even some of the storytelling in his music. It was stolen directly from Black descendants, like a Chuck Berry and a Roddy Rock. Even if you look on the pop charts right now, so many artists who are considered titans of the game right now wouldn't be anything, and they wouldn't have a song to string together if it wasn't for their Black co-writers. And I'm thinking specifically of Ariana Grande's latest album, Positions, which was co-written by one of her best friends and somebody who I think has one of the best pens in the game right now, Miss Victoria Monet.
Where do you see the future of Black music going?
I see the future of Black music going where Black people are going. And that's limitless. The more we use our voice to talk about the things that matter, things that need to be changed, and not in a far off dreamscape utopian way, but in a concrete, logistical, step-by-step way. These are the things that need to be improved in our community, because if it's going to be improved in our community, it's going to be improved in America as a whole. That's where we're going. We're going to more positions of power, influence, and applicable change.
Beautiful. Hold on. Music and performing arts have not only entertained the masses, they have also served to document history from early America. Music like ragtime to jazz to R&B to hip hop and several genres in between. Time and time again, Black musicians mirror what's going on in the world through their music, and through providing music for others to perform. All right, then it goes on and on and on. Then it talks about what impact has the Black community had on American music. All right. So these questions, although we're answering them, we're asking the necessary questions and we're answering them. But now, who is listening? This is Black Music Month. And this month is being overshadowed by those other people calling it whatever music, whatever month. All right. So we have to start taking a look and start appreciating Black music. All right. So I just simply asked the question, how Black is your music? Some people don't want to claim it as being Black at all. I was like, wow, that's interesting. So I said, well, let me come on tonight. All right. I'm still waiting to get notified on whether or not you guys put a notification up under my song, my EP. Come on, fam. All right. The Soul Collective. All right. We're going to be at Tassili's Wonderful Wizards of Raw. Hold on. All right. So I put the double B side. I just purchased that I'm going to go read your comment, Double B. And don't put nothing corny like, yeah, man, it's my man and everything. It's my man throwing down. But I'm just saying, you know, he owe me $2. I don't want to hear nothing like that. Just wait for your, yeah. All right. So I put the link inside the chat if anyone wants to come on and have this discussion about black music, or just leave me a comment. I'll post it up. Y'all could just tell me what y'all feel about the subject matter. How black is your music? What music is not considered having black people at its origin? Come on, Double B. No excuses, bro. Come on, man. It ain't that complicated. Says funny how it was called the devil's music until the devil started doing it. Wow. Yep. Black History Month is being overshadowed by the alphabet community. Exactly. You're right. The party don't start until we get there. So I'm going to ask a question. You says everyone who loves and respects the culture should know who Robert Johnson from the Delta is. Okay. Well, after the movie Sinners, those of y'all that are out there that don't know who Robert Johnson is, shame on you. All right. All right. Do we have any comments from anyone on IG? Hold on. All right. Anyone? Prof. Dab. Peace. What's good with you? I'm just trying to give some movement. I'm just letting people know, look. Hold on for a second. Let's view the requests. Oh, so they love our music, but they can't admit it publicly? Well, there's some documentary films out there where some people have the audacity and the gall, and the testicular fortitude to actually tell the truth. That it comes from black people. There's a few cats on TikTok. There's a few white guys on TikTok that's actually really telling the truth, man. That the country music that they love originated by black people. All right. So what do you guys think? When I did a deep dive and I started discovering myself, even where punk rock came from, it's from black kids, house music, even certain house music, electric dance music, EDM, and certain music that they have claimed as their own. The origin of that music is black people. Yeah. (2025), the year of the absolute truth. June is Black Music Month. Right. The Artistic Perfect Life is letting me know that Chicago is in the house. Oh, I thought you said Chicago created house music. All right. Who created house music? Give me some names. Give me some instances. Give me some factual information. Where did house music begin? Where did house music begin? Dang. Where did house music begin? They say Chicago. Chicago. Everybody saying Chicago. I think I would have to agree. All right. Techno. Where did techno begin? Someone said Baltimore. I don't know about Baltimore. Chicago probably got that one. And where did techno begin? Nah, we can't. No, you can't give that to Ohio. There's another form of music that was very heavy and very popular that came out of Ohio. Not house, not techno. You got to give that to Chicago and Detroit. All right. What music came out of Ohio? Detroit brought the techno, right? What music came out of Ohio? I don't got no native Ohioans out there. Funk. Thank you. Funk came out of Ohio. Name some funk bands that came and borrowed from the Funketeers out of Ohio. Who is out of Ohio? Someone said the Ohio Players. All right. Who else? How about the group Dayton? You ever heard of Dayton? Okay, we got the Ohio Players. Somebody said Lakeside and Zap. All right, do your research. Come on now. Lakeside, Zap, Slave. Who else? Somebody said Lakeside, Isley Brothers, Midnight Star, Phazo, Bootsy, Slave, Funkadelics. Daz Band, Isley Brothers. So much funk came out of Ohio, it was ridiculous. So much beautiful music came out of Chicago and Detroit. Techno and house. What is New Orleans responsible for as far as on the music scene? What is New Orleans responsible for on the music scene? What music are we pulling from New Orleans? Somebody said OJ's. Okay, I got you. All right, we're talking about New Orleans right now. We made our way down to the Big Easy. Someone said jazz, out of New Orleans, jazz. What else? I'm surprised y'all don't know your music history. Come on. All right, someone said jazz. All right. I don't know Strawberry Kiss. We're going back in the day, though. We're talking about the origins of some of this music. Yeah, Kansas City and New Orleans had a serious jazz kind of origin. And those stories coming out of Kansas City and New Orleans, yeah, it was beautiful. Ragtime to a certain degree, yes. Right? What music came out of Texas? Zydeco 2? Okay. I never even heard of that. What is that? Zydeco? What is Zydeco? I never ever heard it in my life. It's my first time even hearing that term. Someone keep putting bounce. Why you keep putting bounce? What is bounce? I don't even know what that is. There's a whole lot of music that I bounce to. I didn't attribute that to New Orleans, though. Zydeco is a heavy Cajun vibe. Got you. You learn something new every day. Peace. What's good?
Much respect, good brother. Much
Peace,
respect.
respect. How you feel?
Yo, man, it's an honor to be up here, man. You done bless my life, you know what I'm saying, outside of the fault of how you did with all black people. You might not remember me, man. It was at a Baba Baruti lecture in DC, probably like 2014,
that was a minute
2015.
ago.
It was a hot minute, but I had got into it with my old lady, and she didn't come into the joint. And I heard the lesson. I guess you saw the forlorn look on my face. You're like, "Hey, brother, what's wrong?" And I told you, and you gave her a call. You called my old lady for me. She was mad as hell, but she's like, "You ready for something good?" I'm like, "Yeah, you really did it." But much respect, dog. You 100, fam.
You told on me.
Yo, she said I had to do some push-ups.
Right.
But much respect, bro. Much respect. Thank you for all the work you've been putting in, and it's an honor, man.
Oh, good. Thanks, good bro. So what's happening? What's going on?
I mean, when you talking about black music, and I mean, I've always thought the blackest music was psychedelic funk.
You said the blackest music was psychedelic funk?
The blackest music was psychedelic funk.
Not soul?
I mean, yes, soul, but soul didn't turn nobody off. Psychedelic funk turned people off like a nappy ass afro.
Damn.
Unkept.
I never thought about it that way. I'm gonna remember that.
Yeah.
The soul didn't turn anybody off like this.
And it turned nobody off.
Name some groups that play some psychedelic funk, man.
I mean, you got P-Funk, right?
Okay.
You got P-Funk. People weren't really turned out by Ohio players, but they included some psychedelic aspects within, you know what I'm saying, within their funk. You got Phazo.
Okay, Phazo, yeah.
Well, Phazo wasn't psychedelic.
They weren't psychedelic, but yeah, they brought a certain degree of funk that was.
Yeah. And I think like that, which the radio stations fault, and like you can change. You can alter soul a little bit, but you can't alter funk too much because it won't be funk if you do it. You can soften soul because you got ballads and all that with it, but with funk was always black. It was to me it was the blackest music that we've ever made, and it said black. It said nappy black ass black.
Right.
Better get your ass from way round here, black. For real.
Yeah. No, I probably would have to agree with you, man. Soul didn't do that. Soul did something else.
Yeah. And with funk, it was all. I look at it as cosmic. Think about it. When you make this face, like, okay, we know the funk face, right? That's why we call it funk. It hit you right up in here. You know what I'm saying? It's like in the ugly face and all that, right? Well, where is that? That's right that's like third eye level if you think about it.
Pineal gland, okay.
Right there, right? So we talking instant cosmic vibration connection. A lot of people in a lot of cultures, when they try to create a music that'll get you there, inevitably, funk takes you right there. You dance however you want to dance. You feel however you want to feel. It's one of the most authentic, you know what I'm saying, vibrations and energies that you could have. And I say it's cosmic. Yeah, like Don say, all in from the gut. Yeah. What other music hit people right there?
Yeah, you right. No, you right. But you know, with soul, soul got into your veins to the point where they had to name the whole delicacy of food.
Yeah, true that.
Soul was like soul got up in there somewhere.
True that. Yeah, soul is there. I mean, but were people bewildered by soul?
No, not really.
You know what I mean? When funk came, they didn't know where to put it. It felt dangerous to them.
Right.
And it was one of the most deepest joys that black people were expressing.
Right.
And we already know how joy make, you know what I'm saying, a murderer feel.
Yeah.
And they're murder Klansmen. Shit.
Right. But nah, where you from originally?
North Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oh, okay. And what kind of music came out of there?
Oh, we was largely funky. It was funky all day. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
It was
okay.
Gap Band out of there.
Right.
We got I think Portrait was out of there.
Oh, okay. And let people know the Gap, where they get that name from. Do you know?
Greenwood, Archer, and Pine. Please believe.
You gotta know that Greenwood, Archer, and Pine, the Gap
Yes,
Band.
sir.
That's where the Gap Band got their name from. And what
Yes,
was
sir.
that song when they talked about Tulsa? What was the name of that song?
You dropped a bomb on me,
Right.
baby.
Everybody should know that history, man.
Yeah.
Surprisingly enough, people don't know that.
People still run from it. I mean, because the thing is, when you tackle what I call what is it? What is it? When you have to question the humanity, right? We have a history and a reality for where the adversarial factors that's interacting with us, people have to instantly question moral, humanity, and all that. It's not really a guess, because it's outright blatant, and people don't like to take that look. Same thing is why the census is scared to teach about gator bait in Florida.
Right.
So it's you instantly have to judge the culture, and you instantly have to judge the people. And that's one thing that black people don't want to do. They never want to judge these pilgrims, and they never want to judge them harshly.
Right.
Despite what they do, no matter how devilish they might get,
Right.
black people won't see it like that.
The next time I come on, I'm asking people to tell me all of these black music stories, man. Everything from Maurice White from Earth, Wind, and Fire, him and Philip Bailey singing all of those high parts when everyone thought it was just Philip Bailey.
Yeah.
You understand? I'm talking about all of those stories, man.
Verdine, shout out to brother
Right,
Verdine.
exactly. I want people to tell me who was the drummer for Earth, Wind, and Fire. That's how deep we gonna go.
Damn,
I'm
what's
putting
the name?
everybody on the spot that come to
Yeah.
the microphone. Because the drummer don't ever get no play.
True that. And the drummer's supposed to get the most. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Brother number one told us. So brother number one taught us that one.
Exactly. Give the drummer some, man. For real. That's gonna be the next program. Give the drummer some.
For real.
Because we know these bands, but we don't know who the drummer.
That's true.
Like,
That's true.
But the Barcades, who was the drummer?
I don't know
Lakeside,
the
who was the drummer? Slave, who was the drummer? You understand what I'm saying? These groups that we know, Frankie Beverly and Maze, who was the drummer?
Arrington was the drummer for Slave. He was also the singer, though.
There was a lot of people that stepped up to the front as the singer that was once the drummer. Who was that drummer in the Commodores that stepped up to the front?
Wait, who?
Because Lionel Richie was the horn player.
I'm about to say he wasn't the drummer, was he?
He wasn't the drummer. There was another drummer. But then Phil Collins was the drummer for Genesis.
Yeah.
He stepped up and became the lead singer. There's a few people. Matter of fact, there's a couple of big bands that I know that the drummer is singer.
Yeah. I mean, but the thing is, if you think about it, who taps into that resonance deeper than those who set the pace, who set the metronome, who set the heartbeat? This is why the DJ was so important for hip hop.
Right. Well, I got to borrow your line then. When Bootsy came with that funk and that bass, a lot of things changed in life, bro.
Yes.
When Bootsy Collins stepped up and did his thing, man. Way before him though, when what's the brother name from the Funk Brothers, at Motown, that played the bass with one finger.
With one finger.
Oh my God, James Jameson.
Okay.
You got to check that out, man. James Jameson, all those bass lines that you hear on Motown.
Yeah.
He played that joint with one finger, bro.
Yeah, Clyde Orange, Commodore's drum. Yeah, Clyde. Yeah, how did I forget Clyde?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm write that one down.
So we need to start looking at, for example, when we start looking at drummers, the first integrated group to ever hit the screen, nationally televised interracial group, just from my recollection, I'm not sure about anyone else's, was Sly and the Family Stone.
Okay.
Male and female, white and black. I think might have been a Puerto Rican or a Mexican in the group.
Yeah.
But surprisingly enough, they had a white drummer.
Okay.
Oh man, bro. He got down.
Yeah.
One of the most sampled drummers other than Clyde Stubblefield from James Brown's band.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Probably one of the most sampled drummers.
I mean, he learned well. Sure. I mean, let's keep it 100.
Right.
They was studying hard back then, and you know what I'm saying. We was stepping up to just be teachers of it. But the thing is, I don't think this is why I say black people who got a problem with self-ownership. We don't know how much of ourselves we giving away.
Right.
We think we being polite. We think we being neighborly or what. I don't know what it is. I still think a lot of it is attested to that toxic way that black people have to follow Christianity, whatever. But it's like you don't understand that there are some things that you're supposed to keep and maintain specifically just for your culture to cultivate amongst yourselves. But black people give themselves away to everyone as if we still on the damn plantation.
Right. My man Enemies Public said Dennis Chambers was the drummer for Parliament Funkadelic. Whoo, Dennis Chambers is a bad man.
Sick with it.
God.
Yeah.
But who was the drummer for the time?
That was Jim. No.
Jelly Bean.
Was it Jelly Bean?
I don't think it was Jelly Bean Benitez. I'm not sure. Come on, family. Tell me who was the drummer for the time?
Jimmy
'Cause I'm
Jam.
telling you, that classic pattern that he played on what's the name? 777
93 11.
That drum pattern was ridiculous.
Yeah, boy, I can see it falcon with it, boy.
Yeah. Yo, man. Hey, I thought it was a drum machine, but somebody said no. He was playing that.
Yeah, you can hear it in how that latest hi-hat and he sustained it. You can't do that in no pattern. Too much quantized.
Jelly Bean Johnson and Morris Day played the drums.
Yeah, Jelly Bean.
Jelly Bean, yeah, it was Jelly Bean. Yeah. Woo, man.
Chili sauce.
Right. That drum pattern was monumental.
Yo.
You understand what I'm saying? The Amen break. Ooh, them cats. I think that was the most sampled drum break ever in the history of music.
Word.
The Amen. And then James Brown, of course. Yeah. What was James Brown's other drummer's name? We know it was Clyde.
I don't know the other one.
Oh, come on. He had two drummers. They was on stage at the same time.
Oh, word. Dual drummers.
Yeah. You remember James Brown had two drummers on stage at the same time? Oh, we got to look that up. We cannot get off this broadcast unless we find that, man. Who was James Brown's drummers?
Wow. The Enemies Public with Brother Nasir says Teddy Pendergrass was the drummer for Teddy Pendergrass? Word?
No, for Teddy Pendergrass. I never heard that.
Yo, I mean, but again, that goes right back to my point of them being the heartbeat. And who else would be able to tap in to that heartbeat to actually be able to express the deepest from it, other than the drummer? Maybe the guitar, maybe the guitar player, perhaps.
John Jabbo Starks and Clyde Stubblefield was James Brown's drummer. Who was the drummer that finally came forward and admitted that he was the one that played the drum patterns on the Beatles songs. You got to see that interview. The next time I come on, we got to pull that up, man. We got to look that up for real.
Wow. Yeah,
He
J-Bo.
basically came forward and basically said he was one of the ones that played them drum patterns on all the Beatles songs. Yeah. So it's some interesting stories out there during Black Music Month. And we're gonna tap into them, man.
Already.
You understand what I'm saying? Because the generation coming behind us, they don't know.
Do they care? Do they care though?
I think they care. We have to stop saying they don't care.
I'm not saying they don't care, but the thing is what the way that they tap into Black culture, it is almost like they're not really connected to it. It's like, all right, you know, and you got to ask the question, well, why not? Because through listening to this music, we're connected to it. Like the reason why I love funk is because my parents, when they were in their early 20s, you know, 21, that's when they had us. That's what they rose us off of. And I grew up trying to find my identity in the very same music that they were, you know what I'm saying, searching for their identity in at a very young age. So it's a continuation, as the YB says. It's just a continuation.
Right. But my thing is, well, the dynamic says Bernard Purdy was the one that played on the Beatles songs. He said because Ringo really wasn't no drummer like that. He wasn't. You understand what I'm saying?
I was always wondering how could anyone outside of us at that time actually get on our vibe, right? You know what I'm saying? If they was having difficulty dancing and trying to follow the dances and get the stuff, if you can't find the vibe just on your own when you listen to it, how can you start with, you know what I'm saying, participate in the creation of that vibe? Right. If you can't even link, you know what I'm saying, just if you want to be a wallflower when that vibe is on, or you're going to be, you know what I'm saying, off kilter or you know what I'm saying, out whatever. How can you really tap into it? Like, because I remember when I first heard, you know, Pilgrims playing the blues, and I was, you know, you get the history of the blues, and as a child, I'm wondering why are they playing, or why are we letting them play it? You know what I'm saying? I was believing we had ownership simply because it was Black music, whatever, but not understanding the social politics and everything with it. And it's like, yo, if I, you know, objectively thinking, if I had encountered a people's music that was attached to that traumatic of a history, right, I'm not going to try to play that music. Nah, you know, so if they got something else, okay, let's see if I can, you know what I'm saying, participate in the culture respectfully. But something that's attached to that, it would have been telling my soul, look, leave that for them. That's for them.
Right. Only they can tell that story through that frequency and vibration.
That's it. And that's
the Enemy's Puppet said Stevie Wonder played drums on most of the songs in the album, the songs in the Key of Life.
Stevie Wonder played most of the instruments. He played everything. Stevie, that's why he was a wonder.
I was shocked when I saw him playing drums. I was like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I saw him doing the Superstition.
Yep. You imagine how funky he is.
Man, bro, you talking about funk?
I'm telling you, it's funk, it's bebop, it's doo-wop. It has like it's such an accumulation, right, of us as a people, and that's why I don't think, you know, like outsiders to the Black community who believe that they understand hip hop. Y'all don't understand hip hop because you don't understand the lineage of it. They think hip hop is more of a composite as opposed to just being a genre. And that's how they receive it. They receive it like it's a drama. I say this all the time. When outsiders of the Black community first heard hip hop, they heard something new. When we heard hip hop, we heard something fresh.
Right.
It was of us. It wasn't new.
Right.
It was fresh.
Right. Yeah.
We just heard ourselves differently.
Right. We put it in a different kind of envelope. We said, okay, we can rock with this for a minute. Yeah. And then we start sprinkling in it. Guru came through and sprinkled some jazz in it. Some other people came on and sprinkled some other stuff.
Skills.
I don't know who put that funk. I think the West Coast put that funk in it though, man.
Mm-hmm. That was E Double.
Oh, for real?
That was E Double. He was the first one who latched on to the funk. People forget P-Funk comes from Jersey.
Okay.
P-Funk, the funk, you know what I'm saying? The funk comes from the South, particularly, you know what I'm saying, Georgia, but P-Funk comes from Jersey. Funk definitely spread within, you know what I'm saying, coming up from down south, hitting.
I don't know about down south. Down south has something else going on. Ohio had more funk than any state I know.
They got psychedelic with it. They the one who latched on to expanding the cosmic aspects of funk and the black aspects of funk. That like most of Midwest funk sound like it belongs on the B side. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't hear it on the radio. You wouldn't hear no other people but us playing it because I see it as tribal. Like the reason why people like the reason why funk took off the way it did in the West Coast, and the reason why people dance the way that they do in the West Coast. That's black tribalism.
Yeah. Definitely. But I really appreciate you coming on, good bro.
Hey, respect. Appreciate the sharpening and the hospitality, and I'm gonna tune in, man. You be well.
All right, you be well as well.
Yes, sir.
All right, peace, good bro. All right, so I went there, Double B, and I ain't see your comment, man. Once again, if everyone could just go to www.professorgriff.bandcamp.com. All right, support the independent artists. That's all we're doing. All right, we letting people know you can support independent artists. All right, let's support independent artists. We're going to start out with Professor Griff and Soul Lady. He put the cover up. All right. You can't say, well, I didn't know y'all had something out. Now you know. All right. Purchase the EP. Leave us a comment so other people can read the comment and be like, oh, okay. All right. Leave the comment so we can read it and we can see it, because I want to be able to take those comments. I want to come back on the air and read them off. So I'm going to need everyone to go to that Bandcamp link. Let me put it back up for you. www.professorgriff.bandcamp.com. All right. So what I'm trying to establish, we're going to do this for any independent artists that come out. You put out a project, we're going to galvanize the people to go support you. Because how else? Gentleman told me the other day, well, Griff, how else are things supposed to change in the music if we don't do anything to change it? We have to do something different. What are we doing different? All right. We have to do something different to change it. All right. So while we're still on the air, while we got a few minutes, let me go over to that site and let's see. Hold on. I want to see Double B's comment, though. I don't see no comment, Double B. I see a comment that says, love the vibe on this EP. Great combination of fusion. I hear the PE and Soleil vibe fusion. Keep up the great work to the craft. Okay, cool. But is there a Brandell Bowen comment? Nah. All right, fam. I'm going to come back on probably in the next few days, read some more comments that's off the page. And we're going to talk about, continue to talk about black music. The next conversation we're going to have is give the drummer some. All right, we're going to pull up all those drummers and give them their flowers. All right. All right. All right, Professor Griff, I got to get ready to get out of here. Thank you all very much for sitting with me, all right, for these few minutes. Thank Son for coming on, giving me his wise words of psychedelic funk wisdom. Hold on. Enough respect, people. I love y'all to life. This is Grip. I got to get out of here. Peace. Peace. Peace.